Yeah, paternity laws need to change. I, 38 male, found out 3 weeks ago that my wife, 35 female, has been lying to me for 8 years, and my youngest kid isn't mine. My kids got those DNA ancestry kits for Christmas from my mother in law. She's really into genealogy, thought it would be fun for the whole family to do it together. We all did the spit test one Sunday afternoon, sent them off, made jokes about finding out we're related to royalty or something. 6 weeks later, the results came in. My two boys showed up as my sons in the DNA matches. My daughter didn't. 0% related to me. 50% is related to my wife. I stared at that screen for 20 minutes. My wife was at work when I saw this. She works part-time as a radiology tech, covering the evening shift. I sat there looking at my daughter doing homework at the kitchen table. 8 years old, the kid I taught to ride a bike. Not mine. How do you process something like that? Some people can't. I didn't say anything when my wife got home. I needed time to think. But she knew something was wrong, kept asking if I was okay. I said work was stressful. The next day, I confronted her while the kids were at school, showed her the DNA results on my phone. She broke down immediately, didn't deny it, didn't make excuses, just started sobbing. It happened at a work Christmas party in 2015. Got drunk, slept with the traveling MRI technician who was doing a temporary contract at her hospital. One time, she swore. That's all it takes. He left town 2 weeks later and went back to California or Colorado. She wasn't quite sure. Never heard from him again. When she found out she was pregnant, she convinced herself it was mine. We'd been trying for another baby anyway. The timing was close enough. She just pushed it out of her mind, pretending it never happened. 8 years of pretending. How does someone do that? I asked if she knew his last name. She said maybe Johnson or Jackson, something with a J. Had his number in her phone for those 2 weeks, but deleted everything after he left. The hospital wouldn't have records of temporary contractors from that long ago. He could be anywhere, could be dead for all we know. I walked out of the house, drove around for 3 hours, came back because I had to pick up the kids from school. My daughter ran to hug me like always. Daddy. The word hit different now. That night I slept in the basement. Told the kids I was snoring too much and didn't want to keep mom awake. My wife tried to talk to me after they went to bed. She said she loved me, but it meant nothing. She said she'd do anything to fix this. They always say that. I asked her how she could look at our daughter every day and lie. She said after a while, she convinced herself it was true, that I was the father, that the one night never happened. Unfortunately, it did happen. I called a lawyer the next day. He said paternity fraud cases are complicated. In my state, I am the legal father regardless of DNA. My name's on the birth certificate. I've been acting as her father for 8 years. Courts won't care that I was deceived. If I divorce, I'll still pay child support for all 3 kids. Yep, he sure will, including the one that isn't mine. My wife keeps texting me, apologizing, begging, and sending old photos of our family, like those memories mean something now. My daughter asked me yesterday why mommy cries so much. I didn't know what to say. How do you explain this to an 8-year-old? You don't. She didn't choose this. She just got caught up in her mother's lies. But every time she calls me dad, it feels like a knife twisting. Every school event, every soccer game, every bedtime story, I'm raising another man's child, a man whose name my wife barely remembers, a man who probably has no idea he has a daughter. The DNA test is still open on my laptop. Sometimes I stare at it, hoping the results will change. They don't. 8 years of lives condensed into one percentage. My marriage is over, but I'm stuck because, despite everything, that little girl is innocent, and I'm the only father she's ever known. The next week was the worst of my life. I moved my stuff to the basement permanently, told the kids dad needed his own space for a while because of work stress. They bought it. Sometimes kids always do. My wife tried to corner me every chance she got. Morning coffee, she tried to talk. After the kids left for school, she'd block the door. crying, apologizing, saying she'll do anything. I started leaving for work earlier just to avoid her. Can't stand to look at her face anymore. My oldest son, 14, started noticing something was off. Asked me if mom and I were fighting. I said everything was fine. He didn't believe me, but didn't push it. The middle kid, 12, just stayed in his room playing video games. My daughter remained oblivious, still cheerful, still calling me daddy, still asking me to help with homework. Each time twisted the knife deeper. I met with the divorce lawyer again, brought all our financial documents, joint accounts, mortgage, car loans, everything tied together over 15 years. He went through the numbers. No fault divorce date means her affair doesn't matter legally. Assets split down the middle. Yeah, it won't do him any good because didn't have any proof of the affair. 3 kids means significant child support, including my daughter. Birth certificate says I'm the father. That's all that matters. I asked if we could track down the biological father, make him pay support instead. The lawyer shook his head. Without a name or contact info, it's a dead end. Even if you found him, he's not on the birth certificate. He has no legal obligation. The traveling MRI tech, Johnson or Jackson, or whatever his name was, got away clean. Never even knew he left a kid behind. That weekend, my mother-in-law came over. She didn't know yet. Still talking about the ancestry results. Excited about some distant cousins she's found. I asked why my daughter's results looked different. My wife didn't really say anything, but quickly said the test must have been contaminated. Her mother bought it. I excused myself, went to the garage. Couldn't listen to more lies. Found myself looking at the old photo albums. My daughter's baby pictures in the hospital, holding her for the first time. I looked so happy, so stupid. My wife found me there an hour later. Please, we need to talk about this. There's nothing to talk about. She's your daughter in every way that matters, except biologically. You're the only father she's ever known, because you made sure of that. She started crying again. I walked past her, went back inside. My buddy Ash came over that night after the kids were asleep. I told him everything. He brought beer and we sat in the garage. What are you going to do? I don't know. You leaving? How can I? Those are my boys. And the girl, she didn't ask for this. But can you stay? I didn't have an answer. Still don't. My wife started sleeping on the couch. Said the bedroom felt empty without me. Good. Let her feel a fraction of what I'm feeling. She wrote me a letter, slipped it under the basement door. 4 pages of apologies and excuses. How she was drunk, how it meant nothing, how she never meant to hurt me, how she blocked it out, convinced herself it never happened, how she loves our family. I burned it in the sink. My daughter had a school play that Wednesday. She was a tree in some environmental thing, standing there in a cardboard costume, waving her branches, spotted me in the audience and lit up. My wife sat 3 seats away. We didn't speak. Other parents probably noticed. Small town people talk. After the play, my daughter ran to me first. Did you see me, Daddy? Did I do good? I said she was perfect. Because what else could I say? That night, I started looking up apartments online, 1 bedrooms within driving distance of the school, but I couldn't pull the trigger. My boys need their father, and my daughter, she's 8 years old. She doesn't know her whole life is built on a lie. If I leave, she'll think Daddy abandoned her. If I stay, I have to pretend every single day. There's no good option here. My wife left another note saying we should try counseling. Here we go again with counseling. That families have survived worse, but she doesn't understand. It's not just the cheating, it's 8 years of deception. Every birthday, every Christmas, every Father's Day, all of it tainted. She had hundreds of chances to tell me the truth. When she found out she was pregnant, when the baby was born, any day in the past 8 years. But she chose to keep lying. And now I'm trapped. Week 4, and I finally told someone besides Ash. My brother called, asking why I hadn't been to Sunday dinner at Mom's. I broke down and told him everything. He went quiet for a long time. Then he said, "That fucking bitch." Whew. First time I heard him curse about anyone. He wanted to tell our parents, but I said no, not yet. They love my daughter like crazy. This would destroy them too. My wife kept trying to act normal around the kids, making their favorite meals, helping with homework, and smiling. But she looked like she was trembling when she poured coffee. Saw her crying in her car when she thought no one was looking. Good, she should suffer. Not even close to what I'm feeling, though. The boys started asking more questions. Why don't you and mom talk anymore? Why do you eat dinner at different times? Why does mom cry in the bathroom? I kept making excuses, but they're not stupid. My daughter was the only one who seemed unaffected, still bouncing around the house, still chatting about school drama, still hugging me goodnight. Each hug felt like drowning. I started seeing a therapist, found one who specialized in betrayal trauma. Didn't even know that was a thing. In the first session, I just sat there for 20 minutes before I could speak. When I finally did, it all came out. The rage, the humiliation, the feeling of being trapped. She asked what I wanted. I said I wanted the last 8 years back. I never wanted to see those DNA results. I wanted my daughter to actually be my daughter. None of that was possible. So, what's possible? She asked. I didn't know. Still don't. My wife found out about the therapy, saw the charge on our joint credit card. She wanted to come with me to do couples counseling. I laughed in her face. Couples counseling is for couples. We're not a couple anymore. We're still married. On paper. She broke down again. I walked away. I'm done comforting her. She did this. The next day, I opened my own bank account, had my paychecks redirected there, left enough in the joint account for bills and groceries. She noticed immediately. Are you leaving us? I don't know. Please don't punish the kids for my mistake. Your mistake? You called 8 years of lying a mistake? It was one night, and 8 years of lies after that night. She had no response to that. My daughter's parent-teacher conference was that Thursday. We both went, sat on opposite sides of the small table. The teacher definitely noticed the tension, kept looking between us as she talked about reading levels and math progress. My daughter was doing great, apparently. Happy kids, lots of friends, always helpful. You've raised a wonderful little girl, the teacher said. I almost said I didn't raise her, I was tricked into it. But I just shook my head. After the meeting, my wife tried to talk in the parking lot. See, she's yours. You raised her. Stop. Just stop. You're trying to make yourself feel better. This isn't about you. That weekend, I took the boys camping. Just the three of us. My daughter wanted to come, but I said it was a boys' trip. The look on her face killed me. I bet it did. But I needed time with my actual sons. Needed to know that something in my life was real. Around the campfire, my oldest asked if we were getting divorced. I said I didn't know. Is it because of something mom did? Kids are too smart. It's complicated. Is it about my sister? That stopped me cold. What about your sister? She doesn't look like us. Kids at school have said stuff. Even the kids had noticed. Everyone except me, the idiot who trusted his wife. Don't repeat that to anyone, especially not your sister. The boy said okay. We came back Sunday night. My daughter ran out to greet us. Daddy, I missed you. Hugged me tight around the waist. My wife watched from the doorway. She looked hopeful, like maybe this meant I was softening. I wasn't. I just couldn't punish an 8-year-old girl for her mother's betrayal. But every day I look at her and wonder, what does she really look like? Some random MRI tech named Johnson or Jackson. Does he have other kids somewhere? Does he even remember that night? While I'm here raising his child, he's living his life completely free. No consequences. No child support, no sleepless nights, nothing. And I'm stuck because the law says I'm the father. Biology doesn't matter. Truth doesn't matter. Only that birth certificate I signed 8 years ago, believing my wife. 4 weeks since those test results, and I still don't have a plan. Week 5. Everything exploded. My daughter came home from school upset about a friend's birthday party. She wasn't invited and didn't understand why. Later, I found out her friend's mom had heard rumors about our family situation. That little girl didn't do anything, but what does that have to do with anything anyway? So you're not going to invite an 8-year-old girl to hang out with her friend because you heard about her family situation? Doesn't make sense to me. Small towns are brutal. My wife tried to comfort her, but our daughter wanted me. Daddy, why doesn't Amy like me anymore? Sometimes friendships change, sweetheart. It's not your fault. That night, I told my wife I was filing for divorce. No discussion, just informing her. She didn't say anything, just put her head down and started crying. The next morning, I called my lawyer. Papers will be ready in 2 days. Posted in a legal advice forum online anonymously. I explained my situation and asked for options. Someone mentioned I might be able to sue the biological father for reimbursement. 8 years of cost. It was worth exploring. I went to my wife's hospital that afternoon. HR couldn't give me information without a subpoena, but the old receptionist overheard, followed me outside. The traveling tech from 2015, Dunleavy was his name, from Denver. A far cry from Johnson or Jackson, finally a real name. I found him on social media that night. Married with two kids, working in a hospital in Colorado. Perfect little life. I screenshot everything. My wife thought I'd given up because I stopped arguing. Even suggested a family vacation. I agreed, knowing she'd never get that vacation. Saturday, she took our daughter to her sister's. I sat the boys down and told them everything. My 14-year-old just said okay. My 12-year-old was quiet, then asked if we were moving. Both said they stayed with me if we divorced. Sunday night, I messaged the biological father on Facebook. I attached the DNA results and my daughter's photo. Told him he had a daughter born from his December 2015 encounter with my wife at the medical center. He read it within an hour, then blocked me. But I screenshot the red receipt. Monday morning, my wife was served at work. An hour later, his wife contacted me, screaming, crying, demanding proof. I sent the DNA results. She hung up. He called from a different number that afternoon. What do you want? 8 years of financial support. I didn't know. Not my problem. This is extortion. No, it's restitution. He hung up. My wife came home in tears. I didn't engage. She took the kids to her mother's that night. My daughter hugged me before leaving. Love you, Daddy. Love you too. Still meant it. That's what made everything worse. The next few days were a blur of lawyer meetings and paperwork. My wife moved back to her mother's temporarily. Brought the kids back for school each morning. My daughter seemed confused by the changes, but didn't ask questions. Kids adapt faster than we think. My lawyer said the biological father had no legal obligations. Nope, he doesn't. But the threat might make him nervous enough to settle quietly. Worth a shot. The boys chose to stay with me most nights. My daughter stayed with her mother. Not by choice, just how it worked out. But she'd run to hug me every morning when they arrived, still calling me Daddy. 2 weeks after serving papers, my wife tried one last manipulation. Left a pregnancy test on my bathroom counter. Positive. I knew it was fake. Good grief. She is something else. We hadn't been intimate in 2 months. When I confronted her, she admitted she'd bought it online. I was desperate, she said. That's when I knew I'd made the right decision. The biological father's wife contacted me again. They were divorcing too. She thanked me for telling her, said he had other affairs, and this was the last straw for her. At least my wife's destruction had exposed another liar. My lawyer filed paperwork requesting primary custody of all 3 kids. The judge will decide in 6 weeks. My daughter started therapy last week. The counselor said she's adjusting well. Doesn't understand why mommy and daddy don't live together. But she's not traumatized yet. Eventually, she'll need to know the truth. Not now, she's too young. But someday, when she's older, I'll tell her myself that I'm not her biological father, that her mother lied, that I raised her anyway because I loved her. I still love her. The divorce will be final in 3 months. I pay child support for all 3 kids, even the one that isn't mine. But I've made peace with it. She didn't choose this. Neither did I. We're both victims of the same betrayal. The biological father never responded to my lawyer's letters. His wife said he's denying everything despite the DNA evidence. Typical. My wife still lives with her mother. Works part-time, cries a lot, according to my boys. I don't care. She made her choices. Now she lives with them. As for me, I'm surviving. Some days are harder than others, but I'm free from the lies. That's worth everything. Well, I can't imagine being in his shoes. Like I said in the beginning, paternity laws need to change. And I think there's one state that's changing the laws. I believe it's Tennessee. Thanks for tuning in. Until next time.